Any tips for tuning in as a projector with emotional authority? Yes. So my mom is an emotional projector. And the one thing that you got to know about the emotional authority is that it really demands a lot of patience. Put simply, the emotional authority is the loudest authority. It's also an awareness and an emotor center, meaning that it provides awareness, translation of, relational information, emotional information, and that is intrinsically connected to a motor center, meaning that it also provides energy. Now, we all know that using unrefined emotional energy to act usually ends in disaster. So the one thing that you have to do as a projector with emotional authority is see your emotions as invitations. And those invitations are typically asking you to get out of your head and actually feel what's going on. What we want to do is start to decouple the awareness of emotions and the motor of emotions. So that way, when we go into emotional waves, there's not this energy that wants to go fix the problem. That's usually the mind hijacking the motor, taking advantage of the emotional energy to then go do what it thinks is right. But with emotional authority, again, you're not here to act out on your emotions. You're here to feel your emotions. Once you feel your emotions, then you reach a point of clarity. From that clarity, then you can respond to what invitations are available. But you have to trust your emotions to guide you, particularly into clarity. Because people will go through all kinds of emotional waves, but they won't ever feel anything within them. That's like looking at something but not actually seeing it, or hearing something but not actually listening. So one thing that's really important that you have to do is you have to learn how to track the emotions, or you have to learn how to track the signals of the emotions. Now, there are three types of emotional waves. You've got tribal waves, you've got collective waves, and you've got individual waves. And those are going to be determined by which circuits or which channels you have actively defining your emotions. So the thing that all emotions do, though, is there's these signals. And it's things like, tapping your finger, or like looking around a lot, or feeling a lot of heat in your body, or tapping your leg a bunch, or feeling the desire to like text somebody or call somebody, or there's these like reactive things that the emotions will kind of like put up to kind of signal, hey, we're gonna feel some shit. And the majority of the world has been taught, oh, your emotions are not safe. Emotional stability is the thing that you want. But what they don't really talk about is developing emotional stability means subjecting yourself to feeling your emotions. So the primary thing that I can say is know the signals of when you're about to enter into an emotional wave. The second thing that you want to do is get to a place where it's safe to feel your emotions. And the reality is sometimes you don't have anyone in your life that it's safe to feel your emotions with, in which case you ought to just be alone. Also, if you have the individual circuitry, you have the 1222, or you have the 3955. If you have either of those, you have what we call an individual circuitry, individual emotional waves, which literally means just go be alone. It's only once you've felt what is there in your emotional wave that you will then be able to clearly respond to any invitations. But as I said, as a projector, look at your emotional waves as invitations. They are invitations to clarity through feeling the emotions. I've seen people who have been in their human design experiment for a really long time with emotional authority generally just like push everything away and just kind of see if it comes back to them. Because they're aware that as an emotional being, they have to have emotional clarity when moving into things. And most things trigger an emotional response. Which I know you're probably thinking like, how am I supposed to push everything away? Like nothing is going to happen for me. And my invitation is go ahead and see what happens. See if the people that you think are your friends are actually your friends. See if you're actually just hanging on to them because you're afraid of being alone, or because you're afraid of actually having to use your gifts and actually having to guide people and falling on that. So anyway, projectors, emotional projectors, let me know what your experience has been with your emotions in the comments, and I'll do my best to respond to them.